Hey guys, I am making this video just to show that there's alternative for the Mavic for FPV for devices using HDMI in. This is going to be a very simple video. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on it. You guys are intelligent, you'll figure it out. But I'm going to give you the basics and kind of give you just my my process, and you modify how you see fit. Currently in front of you, this is the actual setup. I have the Mavic controller here, as you can see. Mavic controller here. Looking at the TV and also looking at the tablet with the timer. I'm going to start a time scenario and we're going to compare the relative time it takes to transition so you can actually see that the latency in this scenario is very minimal. I'll show you just by waving my hand in front of Mavic, and you can view the both screens and see that there's not a lot of latency there at all. When you measure between the S7 is which I'm using, Samsung S7, and the monitor, which is actually having the mirrored image sent to it via a wireless adapter, you'll see that there's not a lot of latency there, milliseconds, more than likely just double-digit milliseconds, but you'll see via the time that the variance is very minuscule. Again, we're not going super in depth with this. We just kind of want to just show that there's an alternative to the VR goggles. You can use, in my case, I'm using the Avagant glyphs, and they are HDMI in. So I need a solution that will provide that for me. I must say that the S7 is actually a good platform to run this application on. Samsung S7. I can't speak for, I know I tried the S5. The processing power in the S5 wasn't substantial enough to maintain the video stream, so you would get behind. But I ran the same scenario with the S7, and the S7 worked beautifully. I was able to do an entire flight with my Avagant glyphs, and didn't have no issues at all with latency and or pixelation. However, with the S5, I did see that latency and pixelation, it was actually substantially bad. I know that the device that I'm going to show you isn't really compatible with Apple from what I saw. I may be wrong, and if I'm wrong, more power to you guys that Apple uses. However, I tried it with a friend of mine, and he wasn't able to get it connected. So I know you guys can do the podcast, not podcast. There's this thing, Chromecast is what it is. I know you guys can do that on Apple, so I don't know why this device doesn't work, but maybe again it's just me. I'm not an Apple guy. Anyway, without further ado, let's proceed. So, as you can see, I've been putting my hand in front of the Mavic, and you can see the difference between the actual S7 and the monitor is minimal. Alright, let's start the timer. That way you can see the time scenario. I don't know how well you guys can see. I don't know how well you can see the screen or the monitor. So So I'm gonna go ahead and do a stop here. Lap it. I'll stop it. You can see it's instantaneous. If anything, you should see the latency occur on the big monitor, because that's where the mirror image is being streamed to the device connected to the big monitor. And I'll resume. And I'll stop again here at 40 seconds. Oh. And you can see it's almost instantaneous. More than enough to fly FPV. Obviously, I'm not referring to drone racing or anything like that, but if you're just a FPV flyer and you want to have the Mavic under those conditions, then this will do the job perfectly. Okay, so with that said, I'm not gonna spend more time trying to establish or to define the scenario. You've seen the S7, which is a live feed from the AccuSync coming from the Mavic. You've seen the monitor, which is attached to a wireless adapter made by Microsoft, which is streaming the video directly from the S7, or the S7 rather, is streaming, mirroring the image on its screen directly to that wireless adapter, which is fed into a HDMI device, and you replicate the screen and there it is. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just start tearing this down so I can show you in the visual components to make this work. First thing first, you have a cell phone attached to the Mavic. As I stated earlier, I can't confirm whether or not Apple devices work. I know for a fact Android devices work because I've tested it. Apple, I can't speak for that. I can't speak towards that reality, so excuse me, I apologize, but I'm not an Apple user, so I'm not going to buy an Apple device just to prove something. I'm only sharing this with you guys to give you alternative, because this is for my personal use. And I thought that because I've looked to try to find a solution much like this, and I wasn't able to find one other than the VR scenario, and I didn't like that. I wanted an actual mirroring image, which works perfectly. Okay, so you have your Android device. That said, I'm gonna put this down. Beyond that, the only thing that's left is the Microsoft wireless adapter. I'm gonna show you the box for that. So this is the device itself. Well, this is the box that it comes in. I will do a remove the actual device and show it to you. All right, so we have that. Okay, what you have here now is the Microsoft HDMI wireless adapter. One end of this setup is a USB. This is entirely for power. The other end is the HDMI module that allows for the mirroring or the streaming of data from transmitting device. You're gonna need a power source. I currently use a 20,000 milliamp battery backup. You can get these a dime a dozens, Amazon, Best Buy, all over the place. 20,000 milliamps was only because I want substantial, I want longevity when I'm doing my FPV without having to do a recharge. This was the most convenient thing to utilize, especially like I said, it's powered by a USB connection, because typically this device will be plugged into a HDMI port on a TV, and you would just use the adjacent USB to power the device, and you would stream from your phone or from your Surface or whatever device you have that has the streaming capability. So there's two things, or primary things, that you're going to need to accomplish what you want to do. Obviously, if you're looking for this solution, you already would have had a HDMI viewing device, whether it's goggles. Like myself, I have the Avegant Glyphs, and whatever other device, or you might be to a monitor. I don't know, whatever your scenario calls for. The only thing I have additional to what I've just shown you is this female HDMI coupler, and the reason I have this is because my Avegant Glyphs has this same male port to plug in, obviously, to a source device that will source HDMI, and typically the DJI transmitter or any other device that someone else may be using, but for me it's the HDMI. I mean, the HDMI coming off of the DJI transmitter. And of course, that I know that's a mini HDMI. I have an adapter there as well that converts it to a standard HDMI. All right, so this is not relative. This is based on your scenario, so it's not required, but this is, and this is a Microsoft wireless adapter, HDMI adapter, and of course your power source. That can be anything you choose to. This was just simplistic and it's already built. Don't have to put much effort into that. All right, that's all I have for you guys. I hope this works for you. Like as I stated in the beginning, I was going to keep it limited. Just kind of want to share an option that I couldn't find, and I had to generate my own, and this was a blessing because I stumbled upon it when I was overseas, actually. So anyway, you guys take care. Hope it works for you as well as it works for me. Have a good night.